What's good, y'all? Welcome back to my channel. It's your boy Keenan. I'm back at it again with another video. What's good? As you see, I got my baby girl Kennedy here with me today for this video. First of all, I want to say I'm happy to be back on here. Man, I know it's a little gap between my last video and this one. But man, let me tell y'all, man, November is just such a busy ass month for us, man. Just 3 back-to-back birthdays, getting ready for holidays. And I got my wisdom tooth pulled last month, which is the main reason I really haven't been posting, because I was in like a hell of a lot of pain. But I'm all good now. I'm back at it. I'm gonna try to be as consistent as possible, especially going into the new year, because man, we trying to go all the way up, man. We got a long road. Will you stop? We got a long road to where we trying to be at, man. So we gonna get there though. So today I'm doing my first story time video. All right, and this I'm tell y'all about the time where we almost lost this one when she was 6 months old. She got a real serious illness that she had somehow contacted, and it got really real. She was in the hospital for about a week, y'all. It was crazy. I'm gonna tell y'all all about it. But before we get into that, do me a favor, make sure y'all hit that like button. Y'all drop a comment for your boy. You share and you subscribe, because we trying to go all the way up, like I said. So let's get into the video. We gotta take it all the way back. Let me see. Whew. It's a while ago. We was in, this is May of 2017 that this happened. At the time, it was just me and my wife and her. We only had one at the time. Damn, I missed them days. Y'all, I went from 1 to 3 real quick, but that's for a different story. It was just us, and I remember it was May 5th to be exact, May 5th, 2017. And I remember this being just like a normal regular day or whatever, because I remember like she was fine earlier in that day. Like it was nothing indicating that she was getting ready to get sick like she did. You know, she was fine that day. She was fine the day before. No fever, no cough, nothing like that, you know. So it was just like a regular day. I went on to work. I was working at Comcast at the time. Hated that shit. But I was working for Comcast, and I remember being at the job and trying to install some cable, and my wife, she called me like just in a panic, like, Kennedy, she's bleeding from her mouth, you know, she's coughing up blood, and she was going in and out. She was like fainting, like, you know what I'm saying, passing out or whatever. And she called her mom, and her mom and her stepfather at the time, they came and got them to the hospital. And luckily that man drives like a demon, so he was gonna get them to the hospital quicker than an ambulance would. So they came and they took her to the hospital. And y'all, they told me this man, he done drove on the wrong side of the street to get him there. Like, you had to get on the freeway where we stayed at the time. You had to get on the freeway to get to the hospital, and he drove on like the raw side. I'm glad they wasn't getting stopped today. We ain't getting no accident, because that would have been messed up trying to get to the hospital to get to an accident. But he got him there, thank God. And y'all, look, by the time I got there, it was crazy. Like, it looked like a scene out of a movie or a show or something. Like the way the doctors had her surrounded was just like, it was crazy. Like, they was suctioning blood from her lungs, you know, so she trying to get her to be able to breathe, like, and she was still fading and turning blue, and like, it was just crazy looking at her. And it's like the frustrating part about it was asking if she was gonna be okay. Like, I kept asking, like, is she gonna be okay? Is she gonna be okay? And they couldn't tell us. They couldn't say yes. They couldn't say no. It's like they couldn't tell us she was gonna be all right. Like that was just frustrating, because we didn't know. You know, we didn't even know what was wrong or what had happened at the time, and they didn't even know. They couldn't tell us, like, oh, this happened. Like, it was just crazy and frustrating, y'all. So they did all they could do for the most part at that hospital, and they was gonna transfer her to another hospital that could, you know, care better for her, had a better kid unit. You know, it wasn't a children's hospital, but they had a better child unit where they could care for her better. And it was so, leave the chair alone, girl. It was so serious that they were going to transfer her there in a helicopter. Like, they didn't end up doing that, but they were talking about taking her from one hospital to another in a helicopter, but they just ended up taking her in an ambulance. And I was in my work truck, so I took that home and got her in our car and drove there. And by the time I got there, like, she was just hooked up to all of these tubes, and like, this was her. This was her by the time I got there. She was hooked up to a bunch of tubes and everything. I remember they just took us to a conference room. It was me, my wife, her parents, and the doctor. My parents were on their way. And the doctor just kept asking. It was like, do you have any questions or what, this, that, and the other? And I was like, hell, I don't have no questions. I just want you to go in there and go save my daughter. I was like, if you can't tell me right now that she's gonna be okay, I really ain't got nothing to say. I remember I don't have nothing to say. Just go save my daughter, And I remember him asking too, like, okay, so when she was born, was a crazy part about it. When she was born, she had like a birthmark on her back, like a big green birthmark. It's actually still kind of there a little bit. It's faded some, but it's still there. She had a birthmark that kind of covered her back and part of her arm, and it was like a big green mark, that Mongolian marks or whatever they called it. But they thought it was a bruise. They were thinking it was a bruise. It was like they didn't like outright say, oh, we suspecting child abuse, but they did say that they want to get child services to talk to us, and because of that, and I was like, what? But luckily we had proof, like in pictures from when she was born, that was there. We got that pictures from when she first came out that you could see the big green mark on her back. So it's like they was just acting a little funny towards us, just a little bit. We could kind of tell because when they found out what really was wrong with her, you could just tell that the tune changed up. That was just crazy. Like y'all thought that we did something like that. That was wild. But so we was in the hospital for, I believe, a total of like maybe 4 or 5 days, and she was hooked up to the tubes. The first 2.5 days or so, she was hooked up to the tubes. And the first night, like I say, still at that point, they couldn't tell us if she was gonna be okay. So all we could do was pray, you know what I'm saying? That's all we could do. Like we ain't really getting no sleep for real. We was just looking over her, you know what I'm saying, praying over her. People calling, texting, and just pray. That's all we could do because we don't know what's up yet. Even the doctors couldn't tell us what was going on yet. So the second day, this is like what was giving me hope and that she was gonna be okay, and that she's gonna get better and she was gonna fight through it, because with the tubes in her throat, they had to keep her asleep. She couldn't move, otherwise it could be dangerous or whatever, so they had to keep her asleep, and they was giving her medicine through the IV and through the tubes to try to keep her asleep. And they was telling us like, oh, this is supposed to keep her asleep for at least like an hour or so, you know what I'm saying? But man, when I tell y'all, they would give her that stuff, and within like 15 to 20 minutes, she was moving, and they would even the doctors and everybody was like surprised, like, wow, like that's supposed to keep her asleep for at least an hour or longer, and she moved within like the first 20 minutes. And I'm like, yeah, that she gonna be all right. She was a fighter, I knew she was gonna be good. She was gonna be good for sure. So other than that, like, they couldn't really tell us nothing still. We in the second day, so here come the third day. She gets stable enough to where they wanted to take the tubes out, and they were going to take her off of all of that. But she was going to be able to breathe on her own, So we was happy about that. We was excited. She was finally going to be able to, wake up, because she had been asleep that entire time. That first couple of days, she was just asleep or whatever. Actually, lay down. Yeah. She was just asleep or whatever. And she was finally getting ready to come off of that, and they were going to be able to wake up, and we were going to be able to hold her and everything. But this was like a scary part. I remember this is like they told us that they wanted us to step out the room while they took the tubes out. And the doctor said that it was going to be about 20 minutes. It was going to be about a 20-minute procedure. So y'all, let me ask y'all this. If you were in that situation, they about to do this procedure, and they tell you it's going to be 20 minutes, and more than like 3 minutes later, no more than like 3 minutes later, the doctor comes out like this and just does this. He just kind of like motioned us to come, and he looked so serious, and me and my wife, we just looked at each other like, okay, what the hell did y'all just do? Like, what just happened? You told us 20 minutes, and here you is like 2-3 minutes later coming to get us. Like, what just happened that fast? So everything was good. She was okay. Everything went good with that. The tubes was out, and they just have to tell you that amount of time, I guess, in case it is like like complications, but luckily it wasn't. Everything was fine. She was so chunky and everything by the time they took the tubes out from all the fluids and stuff that they was putting through her. Like, this was her by the time they took the tubes out. She was just chunky, but I ain't, of course you don't care about all of that. I'm just happy that she was breathing on her own. She was up, her eyes was open, and everything was good. Everything was looking better, from that point on. So like the fourth day, You know, we in the hospital. She's still there, but getting better. And now she's smiling, and she was playing a little bit and trying to stuff like that. We was like, yeah, she getting stronger. That's all we wanted. That's all we needed to like ease our minds a little bit at that point. So they finally came and told us too what she had, what she, you know, the sickness that it was. And they told us it was something, it was like a rare illness that kids get, you know, and it's called rhinovirus. Like, I done told people that, they were like, what the hell is that? And I'm like, I don't know. That was my first and really only time ever really hearing about it. It was called rhinovirus. And what it did to her was it made her start to bleed from the lungs, and she was passing out. And they said that they was like, had y'all not got her to the hospital when y'all did, it would have been way worse. And now it's like way worse, you know what I'm saying? So to that, I wouldn't say, hell, mothers always trust your motherly instinct, because it was that like my wife, she was there alone with her, and she heard her cough. Like she was in one room, my wife was in the other room, and she heard her cough, and something just told her go check on her. And thank God she did, because, you know, she was bleeding from her mouth. You know, she was bleeding and looking blue and going out. So luckily she caught it when she did. We got her to the hospital in time. And even though it took a few days, a few scares or whatever, she got through it. And as you see, here she is sitting on me now, just turned 5, big and smart and everything. And I'm happy about that. I'm happy that she came out of that and came through that. And I don't wish going through that on no parents, especially whether your child is older, younger. Like, she was just a baby, just 6 months at that time. And we almost lost her, you know, just that fast, but we didn't. She here, and that's all we can be happy for. You know what I'm saying? Ain't that right? What you got to say?
I'm about to say, okay, guys, thank you for watching this video, and subscribe to my dad's channel and hit that notification bell.
Hit the notification bell?
Yeah.
But you just gonna end my video like that? Huh? Yeah, y'all. I mean, so yeah, but that's really it about that. You know, we can go ahead and wrap that story time up. You know what I'm saying? Drop a comment and let me know what you think about this video. And like she said, hit that like button, and please, please, please subscribe, because you know, until next time, I'll see you when I see you. We out.